Hi, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be continuing on talking about decentralized media. But before you can get to decentralized media, you have to follow the money. So that's why in this video, we are going to be discussing Bitcoin. Listen, this is a very simple overview on this. And I want to tell you exactly why I am starting with Bitcoin. Um, Bitcoin is sort of the building block in terms of decentralized currency, which you're also seeing other uh, decentralized media program software starting to model. But truly, Bitcoin is where it started. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview. I'm mainly going to point you towards some um, very good resources on this to do some more of your research. Believe me, I'm a novice at this and learning as I go, but I feel deeply convicted, especially as we are trying to proclaim the gospel, trying to get that out there, that we are seriously learning and understanding how to use different methods and networks in order to get those messages out there. Not kidding you, ladies and gentlemen, that there will be enemies of Christ that are out there that do not want this message going out. And yeah, if we've got other avenues in order to continue it going, why not? I do want to give you an overview of how this works with Bitcoin and this decentralized money and give you a little bit of a background. Again, like I said, I want to make sure that I'm pointing you in the right direction. So Bitcoin, it basically came about in 2008. We had the banking crisis that happened here first in the United States, and then it went out throughout the entire world. One of the big things that happened with that was, of course, the mortgage crisis that was happening. A lot of institutions that were bundling and packaging these mortgage assets, and it caused a major disaster in the global economy. We went into a major recession. A lot of things were happening, and there was a lot of shenanigans that were happening. We also have things that happened before that with Enron, and a lot of things where you're going, hey, I'm trying to put my money or to invest or try to buy things, and I'm trying to use these trusted institutions to do this. Well, somebody recognized that that was an issue. The person that recognized that that was an issue actually put out a paper and a theory that was on this. He was anonymous. The guy's name, they don't even know if it's a guy, a girl, a group of people. They don't know who this is. This is Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto, back in 2018, put out a white paper that was called this Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And in this white paper that Satoshi Nakamoto wrote up, he basically came up with this idea of saying, okay, what we do basically with our money right now is we trust these institutions, third party, right? If I'm here and I want to get some money to somebody else using electronic system, I have to trust a third party institution. Is there a way, instead of me having to go to a third party to get my money or to distribute my stuff, is there any way that I can just get it immediately to the person? And again, we've talked about this. I think I talked about this in the last decentralized media video that I put out. You know, as much as we think, oh, well, I'm just sending off a text message or an email message or whatever directly to another person, we're kind of not directly sending it to the person. We're sending it to a institution first or a hub first, and then they're taking it and then they're sending it on. So Satoshi Nakamoto came up with this theory, which is like, how do we create this thing where if I want to send money from one person, that I just send it directly to them? But the big problem that happens here is I also may be sending money to somebody that I don't exactly trust, right? Like, I don't know if everything on the other side, if they are who they say they are, you know, if somebody's requesting the money from me, am I getting this? How do we do this? He came up with this thing. And again, I'm just going to give a very simple explanation of it. Not the best. Stand by for 1 second, guys, while I check this. And can I cancel that? Okay. He came up with a very, well, it's not simple at all, actually. It's based on cryptography. He started to develop the idea of a blockchain, basically using cryptography, right? Which had been around since 1940s. I could be wrong about that. Alan Turing was one of the people that came up with a lot of cryptography that was used like in World War II in order to scramble codes or to decipher stuff. Satoshi Nakamoto, who was an engineer from what we can tell, and still Satoshi Nakamoto's real identity has not been revealed to this day, came up with this concept of going, okay, how do I do this so that I'm sending out a transaction and I'm sending it out, and basically what happens is I send it out on a network, and there's a whole bunch of different people that basically have these little nodes that everyone's going to receive my transaction at the same time. And then these little nodes, everyone is going to compete to validate that I'm sending this transaction to another person. And there's a long algorithmic problem that is issued. And so all of these little nodes are all sort of competing for one another to compete to verify what that problem is. Once they verified it, they go, yep, that's exactly it. This person is sending from an encrypted place. They're sending to another encrypted place. We're verifying that both of these are true. We've done all the work on it. And so we are now going to say that what that transaction is, that is it, period. And it adds it to a longer thing, which is called a blockchain. You need to think of like the blockchain as like the world's largest and longest open ledger that has ever existed digitally, right? It's like from the very beginning of when this was first created, because after the 2008 white paper came out, Satoshi Nakamoto and a whole bunch of other people in this Bitcoin network started experimenting, like saying, all right, let's start doing these little blockchains and start verifying these transactions. So these transactions on this blockchain have been going all the way back to 2009. And anytime that you spend or send something, it's put on that transaction. And every time that a problem is solved or that the blockchain is verified, all of those transactions that have ever happened before are all being verified, and they're being written down on the world's longest ledger. So if you can imagine that, like going back through time, and it's just like one big, long open book. Now, you don't specifically know who it is, but everyone has little signature Bitcoin addresses of when you're doing a transaction. So people can usually see how much Bitcoin was moved or whatever. So if you wanted to go back in time, you could literally like see what everything was spent on, but not exactly what it was. So you can see like the movement of the values. So anyway, once that transaction is added to this blockchain, then it's like, great, we're moving it, and boom, it's all validated. And now from one person on one side of the globe to another person on the other side of the globe, it has happened. The transaction, the moving of the money has happened. It's happened through a network of a whole bunch of people all sort of randomly verifying it without having to go through one centralized company or building or server or whatever that is. Instead, it's a whole bunch of these things all operating kind of independently to verify the same thing and sending it off. It is absolutely amazing, right? Listen, at times, can it be slow? Yes, but this is a basic thing that was created to make sure that it was simple and workable, and in order to grow and to scale and scale and scale. I'm not going to go into all the details of it. I'll go into that in later videos as well. But yeah, this Bitcoin basically solved the problem of going, how do I transfer money from one person to another without having to go through a third party, right? And I can send it to them and I don't have to, it can't be blocked. Let's put it that way. If I'm trying to send it to somebody else and I want to make sure that they do it, I don't have to have a bank or state or government entity or whatever to say, nope, you can't send that money. We're not going to allow that. So pretty revolutionary, right? It takes banks out of the system, governments out of the system, and instead it's just people transferring value back and forth to each other. A pretty fascinating thing. I haven't even done this justice at all. I will tell you who does the best justice on this. I want to get right to this. If you want to know so much more about Bitcoin, I will continue to share things as I go along. Please, I'm going to put a link in the notes, but I recommend on YouTube that you visit this guy. This guy's name is Matthew Kratter. He has a YouTube channel called Bitcoin University. I'm going to link to a video which is called Bitcoin for Beginners. He does an excellent job of explaining how this works. And I would highly recommend that you please subscribe to his video if you want to learn more about it. I will keep coming back here and explaining more about this as it comes. My big hope, particularly here on this channel, whenever I'm talking about decentralized media, is to talk about two main components, Bitcoin, and the other one is going to be Nostr, which I'll get into the next several weeks. Because Nostr, which also stands for notes and other stuff transferred by relays, Nostr. That sort of takes the same concept which happens in the Bitcoin blockchain, where it's basically a whole bunch of nodes. Like you're not going to one centralized place. Instead, a whole bunch of other nodes are like all operating together to get information back and forth. It's pretty fascinating. So I will put a link to Matt Kratter's Bitcoin University in the show notes here down below. So please make sure that you get over that. And I will link specifically to the Bitcoin for Beginners. If you please make some time for yourselves so that you do it. Why do we do this? Again, I truly do feel that it's I feel like this is divinely inspired technology, to tell you the truth. I feel that this is something that God has provided to go, hey, I'm giving you an opportunity in order to help store value for a long period of time and to be able to help grow and to help others with that money, whatever version that's going to be. Bitcoin is a version of money, and I do believe that it is the future of what's going to be going on. So anyway, do me a favor. If you have certain questions that you have about Bitcoin or certain things that you have heard about it, hey, I think it's this, I've heard it's a Ponzi scheme, I heard it's not real, whatever. Could you please just tell me whatever those concerns or questions or any of those things that you've had, and I will do my best to address those as they come up in videos and point you in the right direction for that. Again, I'm very new and fresh in this space, but I truly do feel like, especially the last 2 years that I have been researching this and being involved in this, I do believe that Bitcoin education, and I do mean Bitcoin specifically, okay? I don't mean Ethereum. I don't mean any other type of cryptocurrencies. I truly only mean Bitcoin, nothing else. Other people are out there saying, hey, you should get Cardano or Litecoin or this or whatever. I truly only mean Bitcoin in that. And you'll hear that come up a lot. Like people say, oh yeah, well, all cryptocurrencies. It's like, nope, Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, but it is the cryptocurrency. Everything else kind of comes up. I know a lot of people say like, well, Dogecoins, that's great. I get to make a whole bunch of quick money on this stuff. It's not the point of what this is. Bitcoin it's basically digital property. It is digital gold. And I truly do believe that it is the future for us for right now. Obviously, God is God's on the throne. Christ is on the throne. You know, that's where our true authority lies. I do believe that this is something that has been inspired by the Holy Spirit in order to help us for now, until God's kingdom comes. So I will do my best I can to try to explain it the best I can as I'm learning. And please, if you have questions, just put them down below in the comments and I will get to them as best as possible. If you like this video, please do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share it with your friends so that we can get this message out to other people and bring them back here to this channel where you can learn about creative productivity, growing deeper in your relationship with God, understanding that relationship, growing deeper in your relationship with Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, and understanding His church better, and also understanding more about decentralized media and currencies, all of this with a Catholic foundation. That's what I got for now. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.